What is good? I mean, what is really good, my people? It is UK, Trot the brother, dr.blick, the darkest man around. And today, guys, we are doing another chapter predictions of One Piece. But I'm not alone. I am here with MrNinjaStar. So say hi to the people, man.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm MrNinjaStar, and I'm happy to be making my return on the Dr. Blick's channel. We're doing another One Piece predictions video. I think it's been a long while since we've recorded a video like this, so it's definitely going to be exciting.
Like, it's been roughly, like, we missed the last chapter. I'm not sure, I think we missed the chapter before that one too. So, but it's been a while. I've had some issues and problems to sort out with fitness and trying to balance things all at once. But now we've pretty much found a great balance. So hopefully we can see this happening more consistently, and hopefully we can actually make some predictions of the chapter. So I'm gonna give over to Ninja. So Ninja, how do you feel like the next chapter is gonna pan out?
Personally, okay, so I think like the last sort of time we did the predictions video, I mentioned the idea of like how it's the One Piece, like kind of the ending of this arc is going to be like a transition thing where one third of it's going to be like the whole Sanji baking the cake, another third is the whole Straw Hat situation, and the rest would be like the whole Luffy Katakuri situation. And now it doesn't look like this arc is really going to come to an end anytime soon, and especially with the announcement that Wano is going to be like 1 to 2 years, or a pretty, like, we're not going to see Wano for a while. So it makes you question like, whoa, what's the whole deal with this arc? Is the ending really going to be as quick as we think, or is it going to be longer? And I feel like with the way things are being set up, the next chapter is going to be no different than pretty much the events that have been playing. Of course, it's going to advance in the story, but it's not going to be anything too crazy of a twist or whatever that's going to kind of signify when the ending of this arc is going to come. Because from the looks of it, it could maybe go on for about 15 more chapters, I want to say. So I feel like the next, it won't go, I highly doubt it'll go in the pattern of like kind of switch. I mean, obviously it's going to switch scenery, like maybe it's going to show a bit with Sanji, it's going to show mostly, I feel like this chapter, or I guess next chapter, I feel like next chapter will mostly show the focus towards Luffy kind of escaping through that, that little chateau. I think it's Nuts Island, that's Nuts Island, yeah, because I remember last chapter, he was running through the town here and there trying to escape Big Mom, but I feel like with next chapter it's mostly going to focus on that, him just running around, because he's still there. He still has to wait for about 10 minutes before he can go back into the mirror world, and he's obviously going to bring Brûlé with him. So I feel like next chapter is going to mostly focus on that. It's probably going to alternate between another scene, maybe seeing what's going on with the Germa. Who knows, that could be a case. But yeah, I'm going to hand it over to you, Blick. What's your thoughts?
With me, I'm more so gonna dive into the community's reaction, because a lot of the community were annoyed that Luffy ran away from Katakuri. And if you look at any time Luffy has used Gear 4, every time he runs out of it, like, let's keep in mind, when he fought Delphamingo, when he fought Cracker, those are the main 2 times he used Gear 4 other than the Katakuri fight. Anytime that form runs out, he always runs away. And the reason why he runs away is because he's left vulnerable and he needs time to recover. Whether or not we're gonna see Luffy go back to Katakuri, like in the next chapter, I doubt it. I more so see Luffy getting chased by Big Mom, having Brûlé on his arm or back, like holding Brûlé, because Brûlé is the key to everything that's gonna happen with terms of Luffy getting back to Katakuri. Because as long as he's with Brûlé, he can get to the mirror world. So him being with Brûlé is gonna be a major key for us to see the Katakuri rematch. So I reckon Katakuri's still going to be there. I don't reckon he's going to go after Luffy. I reckon he's still going to be there because he knows that Luffy's going to come back to him. So there's no need for him to chase after him, because obviously he knows Luffy's going to come back. Because every time Luffy fights someone, he always ends up coming back. Even though Katakuri did say he's not going to take him any lightly, as long as he keeps himself in the same mindset, Katakuri does know that he has the upper hand over Luffy. But Luffy's persistence, Luffy's constant pushing, and the ability to trigger people so easily is going to play a major factor. But I do agree with you. The next chapter, the chapter that is coming up this week, I feel like nothing major is going to happen. Nothing really exciting is going to be there. It's more so going to be Big Mom raging, them still baking the cake, probably going to see a little bit some stuff with Oven, and Luffy running away from Big Mom. I feel like it's going to be one of them chapters. Obviously, there's going to be information, there's going to be progression, but with an arc like this, and with the fact that it doesn't seemingly seem like it's going to end anytime soon, don't be surprised if we don't really see an exciting chapter or a hype chapter. unless Oda surprises us in any way. Like this is one of those complicated ones to predict, because it all comes down to the pacing of what Oda's going for in this arc. Because currently this arc is the 3rd longest arc in One Piece. So
I don't mean to cut you off, but this is actually like, I think it's only like barely a few chapters from Skypiea, which is the 2nd longest in the manga. So I'm pretty sure it's gonna exceed at least maybe like 5 to 10 more chapters. It's gonna exceed Skypiea, so it's gonna be the 2nd longest. But continue what you were saying.
Yeah, but like Ninja said, those factors are very major, and then you got the fact that he's pushing Wano back. So it's either one or two things. Is this arc gonna get like longer, or is the referee gonna be longer? I feel like it's gonna be a mixture of both, because there's only so much you can drag on with this arc, because it's just gonna get redundant, and the readers are gonna start to lose interest. Because if you've noticed something about Oda has learned his lesson, and he has shown instances where he can speed things up. Whether or not he's gonna do it with this chapter, I don't know, because Oda's really unpredictable in terms of when he decides to speed things up, when he decides to implement something, when he decides to do this. Like, it's hard to read what he's gonna do. Obviously there's gonna be instances that you can notice certain patterns and certain jinx, and you can tell whether arc is close to ending. But with the way things are going, the arc isn't really close to ending, and I'm kind of wondering when the wedding cake's gonna be done. Because even if the wedding cake is done, it's still gonna be a while for them to get the wedding cake to Big Mom. Like that's another thing that people need to keep into account. So when the wedding cake gets finished and when the wedding cake gets done, they still have to do the task of taking the wedding cake to Big Mom. So we could potentially see fights between Sanji versus Oven, and it's happening soon, because Sanji still needs to have his big fight. We still got to see Luffy versus Katakuri. Like, a lot of stuff needs to go down in this arc. But like, Ninja, is there anything major that you see happening in this arc, like, that's gonna stand out?
Well, in this arc, definitely, but as far as like the next chapter goes, because you know that's kind of what we're predicting, I wouldn't say too much so. But then again, this video is kind of general predictions, mostly directed at the new chapter, but also kind of sort of to what's come later in the arc. So I definitely like what you said about Sanji versus Oven, or Oven, however you want to say it. They're both kind of the 4th son of the Big Mom family, and they both use heat powers, so maybe this can show Sanji's true powers after the time skip. Because think about it, after the time skip, Sanji hasn't had too much of major fights, and I feel like this could be a big one for him. And maybe like this would kind of go, I don't know how to describe it, maybe it could be like an instance where it's happening the same time as Luffy versus Katakuri, and we see like a mirroring image of the two. Maybe like Sanji and Luffy are both down, but then they win at like maybe the same time or something. I don't know. I think that duel will be very interesting. Definitely give Sanji some justice. And then there's also the thought that maybe like Sanji's gonna fight the Germa again. I feel like that isn't going to be the case. I feel like they will have a little bit of a squirrel like towards the end, but it won't be anything too big. They're not going to hold that grudge. I feel like they're just gonna move on, and maybe that could tie into Reverie. I don't know. But regardless, though, I feel like Sanji just has to have that one major fight in this arc, because even though he's had his time to shine, I feel like something's still missing, and it's that one fight. And I feel like Oda isn't going to disappoint us. He's going to give Sanji at least one more major redeeming moment, and that's going to be the oven fight. And as far as the others go, I have seen some other people like kind of give their ideas for what maybe the rest of the fights for Whole Cake Island have been. Maybe some cool ones like Jinbei versus, I don't know, like Smoothie, like a water versus juice or something. I don't know, something crazy like that. Maybe like some of the Vince Smokes versus Big Mom. I don't know. It could. Those are kind of like, those fights I feel are stuff that would be cool. But then this would just kind of make it a Marineford 2.0 or Enies Lobby 2.0, if that makes sense. I don't feel like it's going to be the case. This is mostly meant as an escape arc, just kind of in that regard. Nothing like that. I mean, sure, Luffy versus Katakuri. Luffy's trying to escape from Katakuri right now, but he's gonna go back immediately. And like, where it's kind of tying back to what you said earlier, Luffy, people think he's kind of just quitting the battle and this is the end of Luffy versus Katakuri. Absolutely not. Luffy's just kind of taking a breather for about 10 minutes, then he's going to jump back in right to the Mirror World. Why do you think he brought Brule with him in the first place? If he were to just leave the battle entirely, then he would have just left Brule there and just ran out of one of the mirrors. So it's pretty clear that he's going to come back. He's going to try to defeat Katakuri, and whether he will, I think he will, but I'm going to hand the mic over to you, Blake.
I just thought of something as you were saying all this stuff about the cake, because I was looking through the chapter. The cake is almost finished, so the cake could end up finishing in the next chapter. So if the cake finishes in the next chapter, knowing how Oda does things, it's still gonna be a task to get the cake to Big Mom. Because if you looked in the past at Dressrosa, how like they got Law, but it was still a task for them to get the key to free Law out of the cuffs that he was in. I feel like they could do something like that. So getting to Big Mom's gonna be a struggle, because the fact of the matter is, Sanji and the rest of the crew, they're all wanted people. So getting anywhere getting anywhere is always gonna be a struggle. So I feel like Sanji and Oden could potentially happen sooner than we think. And I also feel like the cake could potentially be done sooner than we think, because Sanji's like, oh, time to do the finishing touches. So the cake could be done potentially in the next chapter, depending on how Oda wants to pace things and how Oda like does things in the next chapter. Because he could do a chapter where he doesn't show any of the cake, because we've seen stuff where things seem to be close to ending, but then Oda doesn't show it at all. But I feel like if the chapter does center around the cake could potentially be finished, because it's virtually almost done. Like when you really think about it, it's actually virtually almost done. Like Sanji's doing the finishing touches, and when something like this happens in One Piece, getting it to the person that they're trying to get it to has always been a struggle, because they've always been wanted people. But I want to know what you think about that, Ninja.
I don't know. It is definitely a little bit more of a task, because it's not like a case with Dressrosa, because even though with Dressrosa, Doflamingo kind of put their bounty on each of the Straw Hats, and everyone kind of working with the Straw Hats on their head, for the most part, the people of Dressrosa were kind of doing this out of desperation and everything. And yeah, sure, like, you know, they were loyal to Dressrosa, but in the end, you saw how everyone kind of revolted against Doflamingo, and they were the ones that actually helped Luffy out with his battle against Doflamingo. With the Whole Cake Island, though, it's a little different, because even though, from the way it was being described, it seemed like, it gave me a little bit of Dressrosa vibes from what Mondor was saying. It's like, yo, we got 3 targets here, we're not letting them escape. It kind of gave me that, Doflamingo vibe, where he put bounties on each one of their heads. I don't know, I thought that was kind of funny, but regardless, though, every single one of Whole Cake Island citizens are under the impression that, yo, Strats, let's not mess with them, plus Capone Beige is a traitor, let's just, we gotta get rid of him. So once the Big Mom family spreads the message around Totland, then definitely the whole country is going to be against the Straw Hats, the Fire Tank Pirates, and everyone else. And that's going to create even more conflict, and it's going to add to the, definitely to the tensions of this arc. Because yes, even though we know at the end of the day, Luffy and everyone else are probably going to escape, it's like, how are they going to escape? It's definitely getting you thinking, and that's another reason why I love this arc so much. So many twists and turns and everything.
Yeah, like, what I was, like, trying to say, like, is more so not everybody knowing, it's more so the information that Oden could potentially know, and the fact that they literally snuck Sanji into like the place to make the cake. So I'm just saying, because we've noticed a lot in One Piece in terms of getting something to someone, it's always been a struggle. I'm not sure how the struggle is gonna happen in this arc, in this instant, but I feel like the cake can't be icing the cake for any longer. Because remember, Sanji's like, don't worry, Pudding, you'll be able to try the cake, and people get mesmerized by the cake. They can't keep doing that for any longer, because it's gonna get to a point they're dragging it out. And I feel like if you want to pace the cake being done good, they should actually make it be done in the next chapter, in my opinion. Right. And then move things on to Sanji versus Oden. And then you can focus. Then you can see Jinbei fighting someone, and then you still got the drama, and you still got Luffy versus Katakuri 2. You still got them getting the cake to Big Mom. There's still a lot of things to happen in this arc. So even if they were to wrap up the cake, in terms of making things actually feel like it's progressing, I feel like the cake is gonna be the next thing to happen next, and I feel like that's the best direction that they should go in terms of progressing this arc forward. But I don't know. Well, let's leave it to the comments and see what they think. But you got anything else to add?
Nah, I think we can wrap up this video, dude.
Oh, that's great. But as always, guys, check out MrNinjaStar. Link to his channel will be in the description below. I highly recommend you guys check that out. And also, yeah, subscribe, do all that stuff. And yeah, let me just wrap up this video. So please comment and subscribe. I know I say this all the time, but at the end of the day, I'm just saying, please leave a like rating if you enjoyed this video. And yeah, this UK Trotler Brother will catch you in the next one. Bye guys.
Peace.